Now I'd like to introduce Captain Adam Shammy. Originally from Deep River, Connecticut, Captain Shammy earned a Bachelor of Science in Management and received his commission as an ensign from the United States Coast Guard Academy in May of 1996. Captain Shammy assumed the duties as Sector Key West Commander in April of 2019. Previously, he served as the Coast Guard liaison to the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. Captain Shammy served on 6 Coast Guard cutters, including commanding officer of Coast Guard cutter Valiant in Mayport, Florida. In 2017, Captain Shammy completed a year-long National Security Fellowship at Harvard Kennedy School. Previously, he received his MBA from the University of California, Irvine Graduate School of Management. He is a graduate of the Naval War College Command and Staff Program. His military awards include the Meritorious Service Medal with Operational Device, 5 awards, and the Coast Guard Commendation Medal with Operational Device, 3 awards, among other personal and unit awards. Captain Shammy was the 2002 Coast Guard Elite Athlete of the Year in the sport of powerlifting. So thank you very much for joining us, Captain Shammy.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for having me here today. Good afternoon to the staff and volunteers of the American Red Cross. My name is Captain Adam Shammy, and I am the Coast Guard Sector Commander in Key West, Florida. It is my distinct pleasure to join you today to help celebrate what I consider to be the most important holiday of the year. And this year, it is more important than ever. Over the past 3 months, we watched how a strange virus from a foreign land has impacted us in a way that none of us could have imagined. As I lead our Coast Guard crews throughout the Florida Keys, I worry every day about the negative impacts of social distancing and isolation. I worry about the increased risk of suicide. I worry about the increased risk of alcohol abuse. Other things that we don't like to talk about, like domestic violence, like child abuse. We've seen stress placed on our family and friends and colleagues unlike anything we've known before. As we quickly found out, there was no instruction booklet for how to ease that pain. We've been told we can't shake hands, we can't hug each other. In our masks, we've learned to recognize expression only from one's eyes and how to detect that rare smile just from the top of one's cheeks. Many of us work from home, even if only part of the week, and we miss the direct interaction with our colleagues, where it can be hard to see the impact we're having on our job, on our mission, and on the value to society. Coronavirus has forced us to stop planning in the short term, our summer vacations, our graduation ceremonies, the senior trip, our tickets to baseball parks, to see country music concerts, road trips, barbecues, summer camps, this year's visit to see moms and dads, aunts and uncles, grandparents, and cousins. No high school or college reunions, no surprise visits, no yard sales, and no lemonade stands. While we can't plan for those events just yet, there is no chance we forget how to do them or how much they mean to us. When the dust settles, when the coast is clear, Dad will be standing behind the Weber grill with a beer in his hand and a smile on his face. Kids will remember how to overcharge you for a glass of lemonade made from concentrate. We won't forget how to cheer for the home team or how to tease opposing fans who have the nerve to wear that hat in our park. We won't forget how to tailgate, and we won't forget how to sing along, even when we don't know all the words. We won't ever forget, and we will all make sure of that. This Memorial Day, that is more important than ever. Never forget. We've heard those words before. Never forget the sacrifices that people made before us. the sacrifices our military made so we can live in the land of the free, in the home of the brave. We celebrate Memorial Day so we can honor our nation's military, past and present, so we can teach the next generation about the generations who served before us. This Memorial Day, it has never been more important than to find a way to remember, to find a way to honor, to find a way to celebrate. Memorial Day is a day to celebrate selflessness, not just of those who wear the cloth of our nation, but for all those who supported them, no matter how big or how small, at home or abroad, young or old, past or present. It would have been far too easy to skip Memorial Day this year, but thanks to many brave people throughout our country, it will go on. Maybe not as planned, maybe not like last year, without parades, without fifes and drums, without children waving small flags, but we will celebrate all the same. Today in Key West, the American Legion will place small flags on graves at the Southern Keys Cemetery. On Monday, a small group of citizens will honor those who died aboard USS Maine, a United States Navy ship that sank in Havana Harbor in 1898, where 3/4 of the crew found their final resting place. Here in Key West and throughout the nation, small groups of patriots will each do their part to ensure this Memorial Day won't be canceled, won't be postponed, and won't be forgotten. There are many ways to celebrate Memorial Day and many ways to honor our military, not just this weekend, but throughout the entire year. Today marks the 24th anniversary of the day I raised my right hand and was commissioned at the United States Coast Guard Academy in New London, Connecticut. Over those 24 years, I've been thanked for my service a time or two. Those 5 words, thank you for your service, are the most meaningful words any of us can say to anyone who serves. I've even said it a few times myself. Thank you for your service. Those 5 words, while always the same, they are always sincere. There's no way to say it and not mean it, and there's no way to hear it and not feel it. Our current pandemic has reminded us of that, and reminded us that there are many heroes in our nation, some of whom we've overlooked or even undervalued. Across the country, we celebrate the dedication and sacrifices of our nurses and doctors, our frontline responders, and people like you in the American Red Cross. Jobs that we never considered especially risky before. Postal workers, pizza delivery, Uber and Lyft drivers, flight attendants, your local handyman, and your grocery store clerk. They have become our nation's protectors of freedom. As we worry about the challenge of returning to normal, these men and women sacrifice their own health on a daily basis to make our days just a little bit normal and to make that return just a little bit easier. This Memorial Day, if you thank me for my service, I will smile and say thank you. But maybe, just maybe, instead of making Memorial Day seem a little smaller this year, we can find a way to make it bigger. It won't cost us anything, and it will only take a few seconds. This Memorial Day, let's remember our men and women in uniform. But let's also honor all the others who sacrifice their safety to protect our way of life. There is no day set to recognize those people, those regular people, making an irregular sacrifice. So starting this Memorial Day weekend, for as long as it takes, I'm happy for you to give my 5 words to someone else. I've been thanked enough, so I will start by thanking you. Thank you for your service. To those veterans listening today, I salute you. And to all those who serve, in any way you serve, thank you for protecting our freedom, for ensuring our way of life, and thank you for never forgetting. Happy Memorial Day, and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Captain Shamey.
Captain Shamey, that was awesome.
I told him that the downside of being such a good speaker is that I'm going to keep asking him to speak to us. It's a real pleasure for us on the Red Cross team to be able to hear from a military commander of your stature, and you always do such a great job, and that was very moving. Thank you. It was a real treat for our team. So appreciate you being on the call. We're going to go back to Reverend Johnson for a moment.
I have learned over my career that people do not enjoy being uncomfortable. But I have also learned that there is power in being uncomfortable. There's a phrase that I learned while I was in seminary, and it is, let silence do the heavy lifting. So friends, today I'm going to lead us through an activity. If you are a religious person, you can do this as a form of prayer. If you are not, you can do this as a way that you can just remember in your hearts, taking some time for silence. I'm going to read a phrase, and then I'm going to leave some space for silence. And it will be a directing phrase as to what you can be thinking of to direct your thoughts. So let us observe a moment of silence. Let us give thanks for the land of our birth, with all of its chartered liberties, for all the wonder of our country's story. For leaders in nation and state, and for those who in days past and in these present times have labored for your commonwealth. For those who in all times and all places have been true and brave, and in the world's common ways have lived upright lives and served their brothers and sisters. For those who served their country in its hours of need, and especially for those who gave even their lives in that service. Merciful God, as we remember these your servants, remembering with gratitude their courage and strength, we hold before you those who mourn them. Look upon the bereaved with your mercy, as this day brings them memories of those they have lost. May it also bring your consolation and your assurance that their loved ones are alive now and forever in your presence. Amen. As a closing thought for my portion, one of my dear friends is a chaplain with the Navy stationed in San Antonio, and he told me that there is power in reading the names of those that have been lost. So today, later today, I will be looking for the list of names, both locally as well as nationally, that have been lost in various times of war in our country. I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you to set aside some quiet time to do that, to sit with the uncomfortable silence so that the magnitude of this is never lost. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. That was really powerful. I appreciate you being here. I'd like to thank both of our guests for being here, my pastor, Kevin Johnson, as well as Captain Shammy. Thank you very much for your time and for your words and for sharing that with our Red Cross team. I was on a call yesterday with Kobe Langley, who's the Senior Vice President of National Red Cross for Service to the Armed Forces. And he reminded us that in Washington, D.C., at the Red Cross headquarters, there's a memorial and a list of names to all the Red Cross staff and volunteers that have lost their lives right alongside our armed forces members during times of war and armed conflict. So we remember them this Memorial Day as well. I'll take Captain Shammy's words and say thank you for your service to all of the service members and veterans that are on the call, as well as to their families that we know serve right alongside them and sacrifice as well. Thank you all for taking time out of your days. I know we've been very busy, but I think it's important to take time to remember and reflect and appreciate. And I'm going to close us out with one more video. It has become a tradition for all military funerals and Memorial Day observances for the playing of taps. And I found online a version that is actually a member of the Old Guard at Arlington National Cemetery playing taps. The beginning of the video is silent, so there's a few sides that are silent, so don't think anything's wrong. And then it goes into playing taps. And we'll use that to just take us out of this call. So when that ends, that is the end of the call. Again, thank you all for taking time to remember our military heroes. Thank you all very much for being here. That concludes our observance.
Heidi, thank you.
Hi, Sylvia, are you on?